A switch case statement is like a multiple choice question for your program. It will evaluate a variable and then execute different blocks of code based on its value. It's handy when you have a variable that you want to check possible values with and you want to perform different actions depending on which value it has. For example, you can use this for a simple menu program to see what option our user chose. Let's start out by writing int choice, and then we'll prompt the user to enter in either option 1, option 2, or option 3. So we'll do printf option 1, new line. We'll do option 2. And pressing Control C and Control V if you're on Windows will just copy and paste the line you're on. And then we can do option 3. Now down here, let's just do a scan F. And now let's get in a user input. So let's take in an integer. So we'll do %d. And we'll store that in ampersand choice. Now let's write our switch case statement. So the syntax for a switch case statement is you write the word switch, and then you write the curly brackets. And within the parentheses, you're going to write the variable that you are analyzing. So we could do choice. Inside of here, we're going to write all of our different cases or all our different options. So what we could do is write case, and this will analyze if choice is equal to 1. And if it is, you can do a colon, and you can say printf you picked 1. And then what you can do is you can write case 2, printf you picked 2. And then what we can do is write case 3. Oh, this needs to go on this line. And here we're going to write printf you picked 3. So between each one of these cases, you need to write the word break. This will prevent it from continuing down in the program and running other conditions. Let's write break. Break. So adding break here will prevent it from continuing on down all the other cases. So once it hits this, or any break, it'll just break out of the switch case statement and keep going on with the program. Let's also indent this. And then what you can also do is have a default. And your default will run if none of these conditions are true, then it'll run your break. This is similar to an else statement, but it doesn't function the exact same. Here we will write printf, let's say invalid choice. Now let's run it. Let's do Control F5. We got to add our warning here, so we can use scanf. Let's include that. Hashtag define, and let's put the no warnings there. And now let's save it and run it again. So 1, 2, or 3. Option 1. Let's do Control F5. Option 2. Control F5. Option 3. So as you can see, when our choice is equal to either 1, 2, or 3, it'll run the code inside of the case, and then it'll stop once we hit break. What happens if we remove break here? Let's see what happens. Let's do Control F5. Let's enter in option 1. It'll say you picked 1 and you picked 2. So what it's doing is it ran this condition, but there was no break. So it's going to keep going until you hit a break. So then we hit this break once it printed out option 2, and the program stopped and kicked it out. So let's add break back there. And now let's try to hit invalid choice. Let's do Control F5. And in here, let's put 6, and it will say invalid choice. So that's how you can use a simple switch case statement. Another thing you can do is that if you have multiple conditions where you want it to run the same block of code, you can write it by just adding multiple case statements. Usually you should use an if statement if that is the case, but let's just show you how it can be done. So let's update this. Let's just change this to char, my char, printf, enter a letter. And what we'll do is we'll take in my char, and we'll take in a char for our input format. Let's update these cases. So instead, let's check if the user entered in a vowel. If they entered in a vowel, we'll say this letter is a vowel. So what we can do is write case in the event of A. We can write case E, case I, case O, case U. So if we get A, E, I, O, or U, we want to print out your char is a vowel. So let's do that. Printf %C is a vowel. New line. Let's pass in my char. And then if we hit the default, let's just say %C is not a vowel. New line. Let's pass in my char. Now let's run this and let's see what happens. Do Control F5. Enter and let us do A. So as you can see, we have an error now, and that's because we did not break our first set of cases here. What we can do is we can simply add break. Let's run it again. Control F5. We could do A. A is a vowel. Let's run it again. Let's just write U. First and last conditions. U is a vowel. Control F5 again. Let's enter in something that's not a vowel. So let's do F. F is not a vowel. So you can do this to check multiple cases, but again, you should probably avoid this and just use if statements instead.